Welcome back inside the studio, everybody. I got a little lonely here today, so I decided to bring Mike Maahs to accompany me in studio for another edition of TinChattin. Again, Mike Maahs, play-by-play man of the Fort Wayne TinCaps. I am Justin Prince. Mike, much like the weather the last couple of days, it has not been all sunshine and rainbows for our Fort Wayne TinCaps over the last week after a hot month of April.
Yeah, the TinCaps, when we got together last week, the TinCaps went through a stretch where they had won 9 out of 12, including 5 out of 6 in Lansing, and there was a showdown for first place with Dayton in the Eastern Division. It wasn't much of a showdown.
No.
Dayton came to play. Our offense went into the witness protection program, literally, and we lost 5 out of 6 to Dayton, 4 by shutout. And then they had the off day, and the team traveled into your neck of the woods.
And things haven't gotten better for them.
Things haven't gotten better. They got shut out both Tuesday night and Wednesday night. They finally, hopefully, turned the tables last night. Finally got a run on the board after 32-plus innings of not producing a run. And they had a nice 3-run ninth inning, and they won last night 4-3 in Game 3 of the series against Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, in spite of losing 5 out of 6 to Dayton, 2 out of 3 to Wisconsin, and being shut out,
They're still 500.
They're 500 and tied for second in the East.
Diving a little bit deeper into the last week or so for us, like you said, 6 out of 8 games, they got shut out before last night. And the offense really didn't look great. I don't think they had more than 3-4 hits, I think, in almost any of those contests, except for that game. They lost 11-5, and obviously the one that they won 4-0 when Blake Snell was here. But, Mike, the offense just hasn't been there, especially from some key guys like Brandon Valenzuela and Joshua Mears.
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but in the Dayton series, you mentioned Brandon Valenzuela, 1 for 17, and he struck out 6 times. Jared Dale was 3 for 21, struck out 6 times. Corey Rozier was one of the better ones at 5 for 23. Robert Hassel, in spite of going 0 for 4 in the series finale, 8 for 22.
Yeah.
Joshua Mears was the real head shaker.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 24 and struck out 18 times. Prior to the Dayton series, the TinCaps were lighting it up on the scoreboard. They were second in the league in batting average. They were, I think, third in stolen bases. Second in runs scored. And then all of a sudden they ran into a Dayton team that has some awfully good pitching.
Yeah.
And the old adage, good pitching can take care of good hitting, it came to fruition when Dayton was in town. So now it's the TinCaps' turn to hopefully turn things around. And I'm really hoping that win last night was the catalyst for some better baseball.
Yeah, obviously, my coaches always growing up have always said, hitting is contagious, so can a lack of hitting. So hopefully last night, like you said, can kind of, open the door. You see some bats on some balls, some runs finally scratch across. But last night, you kind of touched on a little bit, with the pitching. The pitching up until last night was phenomenal as well. And then obviously we saw a valiant effort from the TinCaps starter yesterday, Noel Vela.
Yeah, Vela went 5 innings, gave up no runs on just 3 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 10. And he got ahead in the count a bunch.
Yeah, he did.
So he pitched well. And Wenhua Sung, who just came back to Fort Wayne at the end of the Dayton series, came in and got the final out, striking out Darian Miller with the bases loaded and preserved the win.
I was going to say, after almost giving it back away in the ninth there, but you know what? They held on for a win. Big win, snapped a 5-game losing streak. But like you said, hopefully, last night kind of a kickstarter in the right direction for them again, and then get things moving back. But still, 500, 108 games left, could be a heck of a lot worse than where they are.
Oh, without a doubt. And, the good, the bad, the ugly. We saw the bad and the ugly last week against Dayton and the start of this week against Wisconsin. Now it's time for Mr. Goody to show up. And he might have paid an early visit last night, and we hope he'll stick around for a while.
You talked about the good, the bad, the ugly. The bad and ugly obviously hit a lot of the team. Did not seem to, however, affect the barrel of Mr. Bobby Barrels. He is still playing very, very well. We've seen him be very consistent even through some of this down stretch for some of the team, Mike.
I mentioned to you before we started taping, there are 12 offensive categories that we get to look at when we get ready to do our games. And Hassel was in the top 10 in 9 of the 12. He's fourth in hitting. He is tied for sixth in home runs. He is third in runs batted in. He is in the top 10 in stolen bases. He and both Rozier are tied for sixth with 9 stolen bases. He's hitting .427 on-base percentage. He has a, here we are down here, .560 slugging percentage and a .987 OPS, amongst other things. All in the top 10 in the Midwest League.
Yeah.
So
far, slump resistant.
he gets my vote for most valuable player of the team of the league right now.
Yep.
But it's still a long ways to go.
Yeah. Still a long ways
And
to go.
I will say this again for the umpteenth time, folks. The idea at this level is
Development.
produce and advance.
Yep.
And I have no doubt that at some point this season, Robert Hassel was going to get the plane ticket to San Antonio and play at the double-A level. So I mentioned earlier, the road trip continues next week in South Bend. After that, 12 games at home. Come on out and see Hassel because we don't know how long he's going to be here. And I really think he's a bona fide future major leaguer.
Yep.
He's not nicknamed Bobby Barrows for nothing.
Nope.
And so come on out and enjoy what you can because it won't be too long that we'll be seeing him on MLB TV playing for the Padres.
Yeah, like you said, 3 more games up in Appleton, 2 more after tonight, up in Appleton, Wisconsin, the land very close to my heart. And then obviously 6 games in South Bend before they return home for 12 ball games. Again, he is Mike Maahs, radio voice of the Fort Wayne TinCaps. I am Justin Prince. Thanks so much, Mike, for stopping by the set today, keeping me a little bit of company while Elijah's out of town.
It's my pleasure, especially with the weather outside here in Fort Wayne, where it hasn't been the nicest of times. No. It's still raining when I came into the station.
Yeah, it's certainly dry in the studio, and hopefully you guys are staying dry at home. That's going to do it for this edition of TinChattin. We're back same time, same place next week. We'll be right back after this.